Summary. Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie chronicles the lives and relationships of two young Nigerians named Ifemelu and Obinze, and explores the culture of the United States from an African perspective. The novel considers issues of race and the complexities of love, family, friendship, and romantic relationships in the United States. Ifemelu was raised by her parents in Lagos, a city in Nigeria. Her mother is a religious fanatic, and her religiously indifferent father has strong opinions about the United States. Ifemelu has a close relationship with her Aunty Uju, her father's sister, who acted as a big sister or even motherly figure to Ifemelu throughout her younger years. Aunty Uju was the mistress of the general, a military official who impregnated her but died after their son Dike turned 1 year old. After the general's death, Aunty Uju moved to the United States to raise Dike and start a new life. In secondary school, Ifemelu meets and falls in love with Obinze, whom she affectionately calls Ceiling, in reference to an intimate sexual experience they share. They date through secondary school and during their time at the university in Nsukka. However, since teachers keep going on strike, their education proceeds slowly, and Ifemelu eventually decides to move to the United States to continue her studies there. She moves in with Aunty Uju in Brooklyn and forms a close bond with her young cousin Dike, but she doesn't like Aunty Uju's lazy boyfriend Bartholomew from the start. Years later, when Aunty Uju has become a doctor and has moved with Bartholomew to a much smaller town, he ends up using Aunty Uju for her money and for her ability to care for him until Aunty Uju finally leaves him. After her first summer in Brooklyn, Ifemelu moves on to Philadelphia to attend Dawson College. Throughout this time, Ifemelu has continued her relationship with Obinze. She also tries desperately to find a job and struggles to pay rent on her apartment. She even answers a job ad for a tennis coach who is looking to pay someone for sexual intimacy, though not sex. Horrified by what she's done, she cuts off all contact with Obinze and falls into a deep depression. Her friend Janika eventually finds her a job babysitting for a white woman named Kimberly. Ifemelu meets and falls in love with Kimberly's brother Kurt, and they date for several years. Kurt uses his wealth to treat Ifemelu to vacations abroad, material luxuries, and even helps her find a job that would assist her in getting a green card. She moves with him to Baltimore and begins her job at a press relations agency. One day, Ifemelu runs into an old Nigerian friend of hers and Obinze's at the mall. This chance meeting compels her to email Obinze, who does not respond. Though she cares for Kurt, she ends up compulsively cheating on him with her neighbor, and she and Kurt break up when she confesses the affair to him. Ifemelu eventually quits her press relations job and starts her own blog about race, later called Race-Teenth, or Various Observations About American Blacks, those formerly known as Negroes, by a non-American black. Her blog becomes popular, and she begins to make money from it through advertising and speaking engagements. At a blogging conference, she encounters Blaine, an African-American political science professor at Yale, whom Ifemelu had first met on a train ride to visit Aunty Uju and Dike while she was still in college. He remembers her, and they begin dating. Blaine is well-read and is her intellectual equal. Ifemelu gets along with his group of friends, many of whom are also educators and intellectuals. She eventually moves to New Haven to live with him. Ifemelu meets Blaine's sister Shan, who is publishing a memoir that deals with race. Ifemelu finds herself disliking Shan, but to her dismay, she nevertheless craves Shan's acceptance. She feels Shan has gotten Blaine overly agitated about certain racial issues. Blaine hears about an incident with an African-American security guard at the Yale Library and organizes a protest against the discrimination the guard experienced.